managing director for Glyco Life. It's the best insurance company, life insurance company.
Yes, thank you.
So in this lecture, on this presentation, you are all pushing for life. We're talking about revolutionizing claims management with technology and transparency. These days, we're hearing so much about technology, AI, and it's almost becoming like a rhetoric, but it's actually real. And preparing to do this seminar today, or this idea sharing, I realized how long a way we have to go when you look at Ghana, insurance industry, and all. But then you see what I'm talking about as we go along. So today, we'll be focusing on digital transformation in claims processing. We'll be also looking at enhancing customer experience in claims settlement, enhancing claims efficiency and customer experience. We'll be looking at fraud prevention and claims management, fraud detection and prevention, and data-driven decision-making in claims management. This, if we haven't guessed already, is very claims-focused. But I'm sure most of us here, or some of us here at least, are claims officers, right? And so I'll be expecting to hear a lot from you guys. Innovation, technology. The insurance industry, as I said, especially in Ghana, it hinges on innovation. Over time, we've been talking about innovation in terms of products, but really, we are in life insurance. As for general, they even have some room to play. But how innovative can we get when it comes to life insurance? What benefits? Death, accident, hospitalization, disabilities. The same thing. So when we talk of innovation, what are we talking about? We're talking about the service delivery. And we know that in insurance, they say life insurance is not what bought, it's sold. And some parts of the world, that narrative has sort of changed, right? Where people are very aware and then they go out willingly to buy life insurance. But in Ghana, you still have to go out and then sell. Even when we introduce all our digital self-service platforms and all of that, you still need to have your agents there to sell. And so when we speak of innovation, it means we have to go beyond the products we are offering to see how else we can offer it. And since insurance is sold and not bought, we are selling a promise. And unlike when you go to the supermarket and then, or let's say the stationery store, and you say you're looking for a marker pen, you pay money and then you walk out with this, right? But in insurance, what do you sell death benefit, you sell accident, you sell disability. But by the time you are turning around, is the person going in bandages or clutches? They are not. You leave them with the paper, right? That's our traditional way. You leave them with a policy document, which some of us are still doing paper, right? And so the paper, what is the paper saying? That at the point of claim, when it does actually happen, that is when you're going to reap the promise, or you're going to experience the promise that you sold. And that is where the innovation matters. Claims management is central to trust, efficiency, customer retention. At the end of the day, all of this, the bottom line is that we need customers. And to have customers, you need trust. They need to trust in you. The GIA, the NIC, we're doing well in trying to build the trust in the insurance industry. But we still have a long way to go. But now we're saying that technology can help us in building that trust, efficiency, and customer retention. So before we know where we are going, or before we talk about digitization, okay, and what is expected of us in digitization, it's important to know from whence we are what come. In life insurance is a very old principle. It started as far back as the 17th century. And once insurance was being sold in that time, it means then there were claims that were being paid in that time. The early insurance era, which is the 17th to 19th century, Claims was manual, very paper-based processes. And in that paper-based process, we're not even talking about claims form. We're talking about the fact that I know you, Clifford. Is it Clifford? Okay. I know Clifford, and I've insured Clifford. And then Clifford is saying that he has an accident, or he wants to make a claim from an accident. I must know Clifford. I must trust him and know that there's no way he's coming to lie. And so he's coming to tell me with his mouth. Okay, and then maybe I'll go back in my records as to what premium or whatever he had paid. And then because I know him, okay, this one, if you take, let's say 10,000, I'll make a loss. So you take 5,000. It was based on mutual, agreement from with the mouth. And then a bit went on paper. So that was the early insurance era. Then went to the industrial age, 20th century. And here, because the insurance market was growing, there was the introduction of the standardized claim forms and the claim processes that were introduced. There, now you see that insurance companies, all the insurance groups that were being formed, started actually having claims departments with professional claims adjusters and all in there. Then we moved on to the digital emergence, the 1990s to the 2000s. When I saw this, I was like, hey, 1990s. Because if I look at what was happening then, I think many of us would agree that it's still happening now. What was happening there? Introduction of basic automation and electronic records, call centers, and web portals became standard. Some of us still don't have call centers to attend to claims. But that was 1990s. But that is some of us, and that is us. I'll say us, because generally, the majority of us, that is where we find ourselves now. And then we're saying that today's era, which is the 2010s to present, we're talking of AI, we're talking of automation, we're talking of blockchain and self-service portals. It's a different world that we are in now. But it scares me sometimes because I realize that we are not there. We are still in the digital emergence. So this is a plea that as we are in this room, our companies have sent us here to learn. And then not to learn to just keep the information or the knowledge in our heads, but then to be advocates to suggest some of these things. The AI is real. I've been hearing AI, and we've all heard it. And it sounds like it's just one of those things. But AI is crazy. Where it's going to now. And it's even scary for us as the current workforce. Because if we're not careful, very soon we'll all be out of jobs. And it's not the AI replacing us, but then it is the knowledge around AI, these technologies, by the younger generation coming who would do this. So a few days ago, I was with Ladona and we're researching on something. And I was like, oh, let's try, there's something called ChatGPT, let's try using it. And then we searched on it. And my son came back from school. He's in class 3, he's 8 years old. And then he came and then he was like, oh, Mom, what are you doing? And I said, I'm using ChatGPT. He was like, oh. And I said, the way he said, oh, it was like, oh. And I was like, but you do know what it is. He was like, yeah, it's ChatGPT. He was like, and I was like, yeah, so what does it do? It gives information. You can search for whatever you want to know, and then it will give you information. I said, so how do you know about it? I just know. I just know. Like, that's how it is. Like, oh, I just know. So how do you know? And here is me thinking that I'm controlling everything that he watches and everything that he sees. But even if you do that at home, they're having those conversations in school. At school, they're teaching them. When I went for his open day, they were using what's it called, a smart board. Me, when they were teaching me, they were still using chalk. But I was fortunate, I saw the transition into marker on the whiteboard. But now they're talking about smart screens and they're attaching it and the students are doing. And I was sitting there, I was like, hey, Radhi. But it is well. What it means is that currently, we need to double up in our knowledge when it comes to technology and the use of it in our workplaces. Otherwise, the new generation will come and form insurance companies that will be using AI and automation and blockchain to make us extinct. So as I mentioned in my talk before, this is our current claims process for most of us. You start the manual documentation submission. When someone has a claim, they go and fill a claim form, they come to your office, and then they come and submit it. And then now you check, oh no, you have to bring death form or death certificate. Then they have to go. You come back, oh no, you have to bring this, you have to bring that. It's tedious. And I'm sure and I'm hoping that by now most of us have moved away from that. Then you move to the claims verification and investigation. After it has gone to your or to our office, most of the time they land on the desk of the claims officer. The claims officer does the claims verification, goes through, okay, this is the person who took the call forward the policy document, cross-check it against the claims form. That's all the manual checks. And then say, okay, as for this one, I can pass it with you approve it. And then it goes to the next stage, which is the approval and then the payment. Most of the time, we write check. We'll say that it's the client who wants the check. But whether it's the client who wants the check or we write the check, we still write the check. And then obviously it is collected and then we do the policy update. Those times, and I think some of us still do that, we stamp that has been endorsed. But then these days, at least on the computer, we can write endorsed and then we file it. What it means is that we have longer times for processing a claim, which the NIC is saying 5 days, but then most of us are doing 10, 15 days at best. And then I know some of us still go beyond that to about a month. So then now we speak of why digital transformation. We realize that everything you have shared right now boils on these things: speed and efficiency. Right. We talk of being able to the speed of claims processing. Yes. The automation of documents verification, the claims registration and completion, which is what Group 2, I believe, spoke about, the claim verification and process. Enhanced customer experience, Group 5 just spoke about that, the fact that you're able to easily submit your, that was Group 1, easily submit your claim form from the comfort of your home, anywhere you are. And Group 2, having the fact that you're able to also authorize and pay, which means that you do that in real time quickly, and then submitting the claims. Also cost reduction. I spoke about the fact that once we're able to automate the claims verification process, there's no need of having so many branches to have the claims being processed. If you take the Glyco Life experience, for example, and before even the NIC did not understand, but we had to make them understand that we were going forward. We have, when you see our branch offices, they are not branches, they are agency offices. Our focus there is sales, is to sell. So then someone will ask that, but if you have clients there and then they are coming to, they want to make a claim, how do they make a claim? But it's simple. Every office, so long as you have an office, you have a secretary, right? Or a receptionist, right? Or a customer service person, right? Right?
Yes.
Yes. So now that person, in Glyco, we call it POS, which is policy owner service person. So that person is trained and equipped to use our software, which has these AI predictive models in there. So what happens is when you walk into any of our agency offices in Wabolga, wherever you are, you sit in front of the the POS staff, and then you lodge your claim. When lodging your claim, it is not a paper. You're telling them she's inputting it in the system. The only sort of document, because again, databases, or let's say our government portals, are not digitalized, will be the physical papers that they bring for documentation of the document. Even that, we do not take it off of them. What we do is we scan it and then we upload it on the system, and they just press enter or send. Once they do that, it hits Accra, our head office, real time. And so therefore, we do not need claims managers or claims officers sitting in the various branches. What it's doing is reducing the cost, is making it efficient, not reducing cost in terms of salary. But it means then that you do not need a big space as a branch office. It means you just need a small space, a little space, being efficient, being cost saving. And it's not just on the company side, the client side as well. Apart from the fact that some customers still want to work, but as Guzman mentioned, we have the chatbots, you have the Glyco Life app, you have the client portal. All of that is all available for our customers to access. And then we have data integrity and accuracy. When we talk of digital transformation, we need it to make sure our data is accurate. When it comes to data integrity, the kind of fraud that goes on, anyway, we'll come to fraud prevention and detection. It's a whole topic. That one is a whole discussion that we'll have, because I don't think I can teach on that. You all have experiences, we will share. But then that is what digitalization does for us as well. Fraud detection and risk management is there. That is why we need digital transformation. Regulatory compliance and transparency. NIC demands certain reports. They want to have the data. Are we now going to be counting the number of claim forms we have done? No. Digital does that for us. Transparency, again, when we use the real-time tracking apps or real-time tracking channels or devices, where our clients or where the claimants can track the process of their claim, it's transparent. They don't sit down thinking that, oh, you don't want to pay. Oh, insurance companies, what they say, they didn't claim bad, and I meant your own, and all those things. When they can see it, that, oh, okay, I've submitted my claim. It is now that the claim officer is assessing it. Oh, okay, it has been approved. They get notified, or they even just say, my claim has been approved. My claim is ready for payment, or my claim has been paid. Just keep them informed. Even in our homes, in our relationships, we want communication, right?
Yes.
Hey, Yaboa. We want communication. So if we want communication in our relationships, we have relationships with our customers, our clients. We do. So let's communicate with them by letting the whole process be transparent. That way, we don't say insurance companies for they are powerful. Then it allows us to be innovative and then scale. It allows us to be innovative and scale, using obviously the AI predictive models that we've just spoken about. So the case of Manulife, as you said, this company so far, I think, is one of the most advanced in the use of, it's not just AI. They're using AI, they're using the NLP, that's a natural language processing. So what it basically means is that when you submit claims forms, the system just reads it and understands it like a human being. And it's able to tell, or it's able to determine whether the claim is fraudulent or it is real. It just matches everything, and it is that advanced. And in that case, it allows it to form what they call the AI claims triage. So what the AI claims triage basically is saying that it's prioritizing the claims or the claims processing to end up also that we can have efficient claim payment processes. We can pay claims on time, with them, they're ending up with 1 or 2 days for their claims. even with risk. When I say even with risk, that's in the ones that we have to now go and investigate. Hey, this claim, it looks suspicious. So, but the man said that he's from where? Asawenso. How am I going to find out whether the case really happened in Asawenso? All those things is able to tell. So we end up having reduced errors, faster payouts, and a more compassionate service. Because at the end of the day, they also use those communication tools that we've just spoken about, allowing their customers to track where their claims are real time. Their call center service is all AI driven. So you'll be speaking, when you call them, you have a claim. You'll be speaking to someone. But you're speaking to a machine. And because they're able to detect your emotion, they're able to address you appropriately. We're human beings, sometimes we're stressed. People come to the office and then one claim, I drink too much. Oh, madam, do attend to me. We get stressed and then we end up doing them. When in actual sense, we shouldn't be doing that because maybe that was their breadwinner who has died. And at the end of the day, if their person didn't matter to them, they wouldn't have insured them. So when they're coming for a claim, we try, because sometimes I hear some of what the conversations my claims officers have with some of the claimants, and you can just tell that this one and I guess that they are giving you premiums, but you have to be compassionate. And AI has gotten to the extent where they are learning to be, or they know how to be compassionate, and they speak with them with more compassion. When we say technology, or the use of technology making everything seamless, we have to be mindful and intentional how we go about it. You realize that a lot of the fields that we needed were pre-filled. And it's very important. Sometimes we go the Google form approach. We say we've designed something electronic. But when the person goes, when the claimant goes there, they end up typing out everything. So what is your sex? Male or female? You can only be male or female, especially in Ghana. We don't have other. Even if there was other, we'll still put other. But then it's pre-filled. And so when you go, you're just clicking. And so what really should take so long to do, you can do it in like a few 2 minutes, under 2 minutes. So we end up having the speed of the claims being attended to. The client is also able to submit the claim request promptly, quickly. The efficiency, as I said, reduced errors because, again, someone is going to type out everything. The chances of there being errors will be high. That is on the client side. On our side, too, and attending to it, because everything is digital, the probability of having errors is also reduced, and then you have faster payouts. All of this, at the end of the day, the cracker is that our customers must have a great experience with us. As I said in the beginning, and as we all know, insurance is sold and not bought. So at the point of claim, that is where it's very, very essential that they experience what they have bought. But unfortunately, we do it the reverse. At the point of claim, that is where we know how to ask them all the 110 questions that we should have asked them before taking the policy. And so we have to be mindful. But again, technology and AI digitization can help us in doing that. It helps to make the process faster, clearer, and more empathetic. To do this, we can deploy some of these strategies. The first step, as I said, is to simplify the claims process. Okay, let it not be done. Use your AI, your apps that you have. Again, pre-filled. It makes it simpler. And insurance, we like using terms, the terminologies. It's too much. Let's reduce it. Simple terms, simple layman English. Let's use that so that they can understand, our claimants can understand what exactly it is that we're requesting them to provide. Okay, so we do that on our web portals, our mobile devices, pre-filled form, using the policyholder data. You see, there's a mention of policyholder data there. It stems back to underwriting. To have a successful digitized claim platform or claims portal or claims process, it means that your underwriting must also be more digital. I hope and I'm praying that we've all gone away from a manual capturing of proposal forms. Completion of the forms. Glyco Life went fully digital in 2016 with our proposal forms. So our agents would go on the field without forms, and it was not Google form. We had deployed technology, AI then, and now it has been enhanced even more. Now what we have are our agents are field underwriters, which means that they're not just gathering data. Whatever they're putting in, the system is doing the first level of underwriting. And so when it's for a claim or for a policy or a new business to come to the underwriting desk, now underwriters are real underwriters. It means that it is something that is beyond the
Data.
sorry?
Data capture.
No, it's beyond capturing. Yes, maybe the sum assured they want is beyond our medical limit. And so therefore, our non-medical limit. And so therefore it comes to the underwriters desk to actually underwrite. So now, at least at Glyco Life, I know that our underwriters are real underwriters and not data entries. So we are advocating your companies, okay, that we can use technology and it is there. We are ready, we are open to share how we did it. And we did it as far back as 2016. So unfortunately, when the industry was crying, when COVID hit, that we can't work, we didn't understand what that meant. We're not a monk. So that's so that is important. We need to digitize our underwriting process because it is at the point of claim or when a claim actually happens, you will need that data from the system to be able to correctly assess the claim. We need to also adapt to speed. We need to speed up our response and claim settlement times. Again, automation and AI will help us do that by verifying and validating our claims. Especially policies that are low risk, low value. Sometimes we pay claims about 5,000 and the torture, sometimes, and it's those small claims that you find that customers are most difficult to. The 5,000 ones, they'll carry their whole family to come and make the claim, but we need to speed up our response and settlement time. So using AI, at least we can flag up those kind of claims and then get it paid quickly. Maybe the high value claims using the claims triage system, can come in maybe in the middle. But again, using AI, it's coming in the middle doesn't mean that it's going to take days. It means that the first ones will be cleared in like 30 minutes, and then we'll take maybe another hour to do the middle value claim ones. We need to set and communicate clear turnaround times. It's very, very important. It's very, very important. We like to advertise that we pay same day claims. We pay claims within 24 hours. But then, is it the case for every claim? Is it? No. So why do we sell them that dream? And then when it comes to the actual claim, then we're telling them that, oh no, by this type of claim here, it is three weeks or 3 months. Let's not do that. But yes, it's good to set the clear, communicate clear turnaround times. The claims that are within 24 hours or same day, let's communicate those ones. That's maybe partial withdrawals, you can get it same day, or even 30 minutes, you can even advertise that. But then let's set and communicate clear turnaround times. We need to provide the omni-channel support, which we have mentioned, the chatbots, the WhatsApp, the USSD links, all of that, websites, mobile apps. We need to keep customers informed. Real-time tracking, it is a thing. It is the in thing. because now, especially the Gen Zs who are now coming into the workforce, everything they want to know, and they want to know now. And so if they have a claim, they want to be able to track it, real-time tracking and updates for acknowledgement, processing, approval, all of that. We can use SMSs for those of us who say that our clients use YAM phones. We can do, the in-app notifications and all of that. Empathy and personalization. Claims officers in this room, I really respect you. Seriously. Because it is not easy. Sometimes when you see, or when I listen, as I said, when I listen to how some of the claimants speak, and for some of them, they feel that, they bought a policy, and so therefore, whether they're entitled to the claim or not, as for them, they are entitled. But let's continue doing the good work that we're doing, having empathy, having patience for them, and let them rant. At the end of the day, they say that the customer is always right. So we'll take time. Not always, but then when they are ranting, they're always right. When you finish, you take time to educate them. So we take it as they are not informed. And so we take time. So continue to have empathy for them. And as our companies are doing now, training us on some of these things. And then solicit and act on feedback. It's very important to gather customer feedback. If we have our net promoter scores, we can check all of those things and then see how we're doing. When customers actually give feedback, let's take it seriously. Sometimes we have suggestion boxes, or we give room on our website for there to be suggestions. But we never take it, we never even look at it. We need to change, insurance companies, we need to change. From today we change, right? We promise on our honor. Okay. So at this point, I think we're running out of time. So I won't let us do this as a group activity. But then let's just discuss. Let's talk of our customer pain points when it comes to claims. Let's name some. What can we talk about? Sorry? The turnaround time. So how do we solve that? How do we digitize the turnaround time? Yes.
I think they are supposed to, at every point where we get to at the claims base, they are supposed to be notified. So if we are here and say, okay, claims are being processed, they have to have a message. Then when it moves on to another stage, they have to have a message so that they will keep abreast with whatever is happening. If you spend much time in doing the investigation, they need to be alerted that this is what we did. So maybe you can also assist us from your end, or you can give us this time so that we can. So at every point in time, they need to be taken along the journey.
So it's a communication.
Yes.
Maybe like a trauma.
So why don't we do that then?
But then also, let's not forget that when we are selling the policy to them, we make a statement as to the time of within the time frame within which they can do their claim. So if we are indicating the time frame in which they can do their claim and their claim is delayed, how then do we solve that?
So you see, I think I get you all right, but immediately they submit the documents and you get it. That is when the time starts. So for them, they are looking forward to 3 working days or 2 working days. So immediately the time starts, you have to alert them. So when it goes beyond the 2 working days, they still need to be alerted. But there are certain circumstances way beyond you. And you can't do anything about it. But you have to let them, you have to walk them through the process. So that in the long run, they become satisfied with what happens.
So what do you think some of the challenges are as to why we are unable to alert them? Claimants? Why do we not? Why is it that we forget to keep them informed, or
it also comes down to systems. Now you have, the microinsurance bit. So now you have at this point people using young phones. Now you want to let's say, send them a message, or maybe you want to, they have a portal, you want to just send them, but these people using young phones, they can't get it. So sometimes these people today are a bit of illiterate when it comes to reading. So when you send them even messages, they can't even read. So most often we try as much as possible to make sure we call them. Because as you are calling them, with them, okay, my judge Mr. I'm waiting here, and you will say, okay, and say, make sure we don't copy them, okay, my house this date. Okay, your integration. So you realize that they are always abreast with the process that you are going through. And they can even testify that, oh, it took long, or it didn't take long for the case to be.
But you know that process you've mentioned is very important, and I was laughing when you said that you are unable to come or send them messages because of the young food. And I was thinking to myself, message you can both send their own kind. Unless they find their niece or their nephew somewhere to go and show say, like for Moses saying, or insurance for Moses saying, before they get it. But then, sorry, before you come in, that process you just mentioned of having to call them. Do you think there's any way we can introduce digitization there?
So there may be some form of IVR that they can listen to. There may be some form of, you give them, let's say, a short code to call, so that when they enter the short code and inform, and they enter their...
No, but this is you informing them of their claim process.
I may have to send a text message in the long run. I may have to send a text message in the long run. Sometimes we say we can't really do something about that. When it comes to the market treatment, most of where I sit, they visit the MTN branches and they visit the MTN branches a lot. So we try as much as possible to even tell them that, okay, this is the issue. If it delays or it goes beyond this particular time, kindly visit the nearest MTN branch. Then you can get all the information you need on that particular thing.
How do you send them policy documents? Because you mentioned that at the point of sale, we communicate to them
the duration for claims.
Yes, the duration for claims and all of that. And usually that is, yes, when you're speaking to them. But then I know it's also...
So it's consent based, and we have to make a call to the clients. So at every call that we make, we take them through the process. They receive and we have what we call the KYC, So immediately you key in the details, we are able to see all your names and everything on our dashboard. So we don't stress asking a lot of your name. I'll tell you, I see this, so and so, so and so. Am I saying to the right person? It's okay, this. Then we go through the process. Immediately you accept that, okay, you want to be on the policy. Then we send you a consent. The consent just now, maybe we click on one. Immediately you click on one, you accept it. Then the policy starts. So that is how it is.
So you don't send policy documents?
So we don't send policy documents. So immediately we are done with you, then we send you
so that's digitized. That's what I want the class.
So immediately you are done, we send you the message that you're on it, then we give you a link to the terms and conditions. So that's where you also go in the actual convenience, you go to the
have we thought of how we can localize the terms and conditions? Then again, they can't read what you're saying. So even if you changed it or converted it to local language, you probably still
I think we can still use the idea to give them the terms and conditions, because that it can be localized in various languages. So if you are there, mostly I think Tigo has something of that sort. They want you to sign on to a coloring to see a number holding 200. So after the person has signed up, probably a number will call stating the terms and conditions in various languages which they can choose for.
That's localizing it, yes, and still using technology. Fantastic. Sorry, I saw some hands up.
I still go by the SMS platform because not all of the SMS are units. It is better when you the conscious effort that every generating the agent report every day, you're going to send claims that are more than 3 days to the claim that are going to be. Once we do somewhere in the different depends and you know, pick the phone, give it to the next report. Like the first thing you just go to that camera, give it to that camera. It is better than being silent. Again, once the person got this, then they'll truly a message to the person that okay, this is what really happens. Take for this number of days, and I'm not there. Reach us on this particular line or something. And I think they will be very calm. So far as they are getting feedback or some information from the insurance.
I think we can actually use both. This and that. For those who will not read at all, human beings, we have trust issues sometimes. If you are from now, kind of one, go interpret it differently. That's just by the way. I remember when I was very young, very, very little, and my grandma, obviously, she doesn't understand English. And those were the days where the family sits behind the TV. There's a movie usually around 7 or 8 p.m. And then we'll be watching a movie. And she's always so interested in the movie. But because I have started school, I was probably in kindergarten or class 1. And she'll be asking me, almost the same. And yeah, I was afraid that stress, all the slangs. And I didn't understand it. Yeah, I never met you, and I'm yeah, I said, Nana. I said, Butuno. Maybe I don't know more Canada, that wasn't it. But it was the accent, I couldn't understand it, right? But she's asking me, I have to say something. I said, me train the same school. And then you end up in that. So sometimes when you ask someone to read on your behalf, however they understand it is how
simple.
Because in English, when they are reading it and they are reading it out to you understand. Yeah. So I think both ways will work. For those who actually can read, and for those who understand, who are literate, they would want to read it themselves. And then for those who that can't, use the voice. After you sold the policy to them, you can call them and then take them through it. And what I've realized is usually those who are unable to read, they tend to take what you tell them very seriously, and they have such good retentive memory. Because when you tell them that 2 days, you'll be surprised. You can't tell them says 3 days. That's why I said the bill catcher me says 2 days. Not catcher me, and they'll be insistent on it. So the voice one, it'll help with them recollecting or knowing what is going on, and then the SMSs as well. Any other main points?
I think the documentation too. The documentation. Some of them, you realize that you can ask somebody to OPD card. OPD is not there. So you have to explain. And any folder, I need any more, but there's someone can send me the document. So sometimes they have all the documents in there, but the jargon that we are using, it's also confusing them. So that is sometimes when you try and call them to say, please, if you have this copy, I sent to the office, they said no, they don't need that, so why don't you have to match them? Yeah. So it comes a lot of feedback.
Yeah.
So I think it's a
We spoke about that. We have to be mindful. We like grammar, we like terms too much. We want to show that we are learned. So we need to calm down with our technology, especially at the point of view.
But then also, I think we should make them aware of the documents that we need when we are coming to do a claim. When we are selling to them, we don't make them aware of the documents that we need when we are coming for their claims. So mostly, if the terms and conditions are being sent to them, we should be able to add a set of documents that we need, such that they will know that, okay, in the event of delay, I will need A, B, and C to submit to my insurance company. If not, they will come back and you tell them, oh, go and bring this document. Someone can check. And it extends the dates. They will come and blame you said 2 days, I'll have my claim. But meanwhile, the layers of that document is what is extending the dates. So we should be able to communicate that to them.
You know what you said is interesting. As much as it's true, I'm also thinking, what as a claims officer, if someone came to me or someone presented a claim with everything perfect, like with all the requisite claims and supporting documents, what will come to your mind? Sorry? Well informed and then fraud. As a move. Because really, I think it's what will come anyway, I'll leave that conversation for when we enter the fraud side, because I said that side. So in terms of enhancing our claims efficiency and customer experience, we need to automate our routine tasks, okay, internally. We need to implement the smart triage system, which is prioritizing our claims based on urgency, the risk of fraud, and what's the last one? It just escaped. And then the monitoring of our KPIs, tracking our claims, TAT, turnaround times, first time resolution, and of course, our customer satisfaction. This topic, let's discuss. How do you determine fraud before you can even prevent it?
Okay, so micro.
Micro.
Yeah, the micro.
Okay.
Yeah, if differences in signature, then you can start to suspect that something is going on.
A micro design.
Yes, so that's one.
But every time you sign, is it the same?
That much.
Pardon?
Like, it's not the same always, but the difference should be.
But I recently also discovered that people have multiple signatures. I mean, it still beats my imagination. I can't understand why one person have different signatures. So what if the person forgot that insurance the crowd will be signing the same?
Then you need to investigate why the person is
One of my bosses, he's now on pension. He actually trained us when we were first employed. And he told us a story when a retired man came to make a claim with a son. And then time, it used to take time, maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks, sometimes 2 months, because all claims were processed in Accra. Later, the check will come and then they will come and pick it up. Not knowing the boy was bad, he wanted to come and take the check without the father's knowledge. And so when he came, they brought out, he mentioned the father's name. He brought out the particulars, the book for him to sign and everything. But as soon as it got to the collection of the check, and they look at my boss said, the cashier said the face and then the age, it was not matching. So they became suspicious. So that's how they were able to detect that he was the one. So he was not the one. Because he came with the father, he knew everything. He could sign the father's signature, he signed the same thing, did everything. He nearly took the check away.
So for the vigilance of the cashier,
yes.
But how many cashiers are like that? Sometimes don't even look at your face. The rest is the bank.
So I think it was the age. Like sometimes if somebody is lying, maybe with the help of this Ghana card, we should be vigilant with it. If you look at it, the person's age, you look at the face, sometimes you are able to tell whether it's the person or not.
Fraud at the point of collection.
Yes, but now that we are going digital, I don't need to know how we are going to detect.
Okay.
I also think sometimes when you demand for certain documents from them, they'll tell you that they don't have, or it is rent. Yes. So they give excuses that you don't have the documents and stuff, but they'll also be pressuring you for you to process the claim. That's when you should be suspicious.
Okay.
Okay, so sometimes the information on the documents are not consistent. Okay, so let's say the person who has passed from our system as, let's say, Achampong-Kyei, then on the death document you have, let's say, Mary something Beidou. It could be a different sibling or maybe a relative, but from it, not really the actual person.
Right.
Sometimes when you check on the death date, you can see some kind of alterations. That would also prompt you to do those checks, just to make sure that the information we have here are quite consistent and genuine.
So what there is not
Sorry.
really accurate.
Oh, but twins will have different
Different names, but they're the same thing.
They are very identical and
So the Ghana card is the same. So how will you determine the
Okay, so with the case of twins, okay,
they're very identical.
very identical.
You can use the ID number if they present an ID.
They are supposed to
Those
have
are
ID with the
unique.
same name.
Oh, sometimes you can link it with your phone number as well because there are certain unique features you can use to track. Because we will not have the same mobile number, obviously not. Because
But here's the case where, from what he's saying, they are very identical twins. So therefore, he can present his, the other twins' ID can be presented. They will have the same face.
exactly, so that's where you move to the next, where you connect with the phone number of whoever. Because sometimes you need to call just to ascertain if you are dealing with the same person. You can go somewhere else.
My friend from my
Okay, so some of us, we look at the location, where the claim is coming from. The location where the claim is coming from also gives us an idea whether it's fraud or not.
the
facility. Now, we've had countless fraud. Places like Accra. There's a particular place where you know that when I get here, whatever I want, I'll get it. When you go to outside Accra, I know a particular hospital where even the nurses and the doctors are on the policy. So they can get you any document. If you say I want it, you get it. If you say you want it, you get it. So where it is coming from, this prompts us to go on the field investigation ourselves. So it depends where it is coming from. Where it comes from, we detect it out.
It's all right. It's so absolutely right. And I'll take the last one from myself.
With the occupation. For instance, our company, what we have analyzed is that the health sector, about 80% of our foreign is coming from the health sector. So the moment we see that the patient is less, or let's say a medical practitioner, now we can answer.
It's true, and it's quite sad, but it's the truth. At least it's our experience at right. But as I said, the prevention of fraud, it starts from underwriting. It starts from how we underwrite, how we are profiling our customers and who we are selling to and from where we are selling to. Especially trekking. Sometimes we trek to some areas that are not even on the Ghana map. You know, and then from there, when you do one or two policies, you find that it's the same agents who end up going back and then sometimes conniving with the policy holder. Sometimes they don't even have any intention to defraud, but then they tell them. So most of the time, it's premeditated. Fraud is premeditated. But fraud prevention protects insurers from financial loss. I think that goes without saying. And so that we can maintain our trust and our fairness. Because once you've been bitten once, every time you see a claim from, as you are saying, from certain parts of Accra, you'll be looking twice, you know, and then from certain parts of the country. Fraud ranges from document forgery to staging deaths. I have witnessed how someone has killed their mother on paper. People have killed their mothers on paper. It's crazy. And you know, that's, maybe Dominic, you remind me of the area. But basically, I was asking my claims officer how he detected that that claim was fraudulent. And that is what, and that has been what, about 5 years. And that is what for us prompted us to really take this AI thing seriously, to be able to smart read the claim forms that come. We were blessed and we're lucky that he had an extremely critical eye. You have to remind me again what he saw. But basically, as he is saying, the location of the death happened in the remotest of villages. I'm telling you, it's not on the Ghana map. I bet you it's not on the Ghana map. Because you have to go, get to some place around, it was around Volta. Then you cross. Yes, you cross the river, and the river, before you cross it, they have to perform rituals. Yeah, so they don't just cross that river at all, because when you go, and then it's a known thing. Apparently, the boat will capsize, you drown, something will come and catch you from it. But then, so it's a whole, so they have times that they go there. And it is such that because people, strangers or foreigners don't go there, it's a sort of like a small community. So before someone comes there, your sort of the information is, you know, they know who is coming there and all of that. And I think it was that one that the person claimed that, or that was the Eastern region one, that the mother had died. That one, the mother had died. So the claims officer went all the way there to go and investigate. Only to get there, asked for the lady's name. And they said that, oh, she's gone to the farm, she's coming. But he also went knowing genuinely or thinking genuinely that this woman had died. So he was going to ask, you know, questions, wanting to find out, because of the age, wanting to find out whether the lady had died even before joining the police. Because he waited period, no soon, then he came and claimed. So when he got there, they said the woman was coming. He said, wow. So he sat down, waiting. So you see, one thing he was going to look for. He just saw this old woman coming over, she's coming from the farm. And it's like, you can't just understand how someone will kill their mother on the paper just to come and collect money. But it happens, you see. And that would have cost us so much, because they know very well for a fact that there's no way you would have ended up in that village. It would have taken you true determination to get there. You know, there are so many other instances. So that's an example of staging deaths. It is important to devise strategies to detect and to deter such fraudulent activities. Right now, we're still relying on a lot of human eyes, you know, to be able to read what the claimant has said and to believe it, and to sort of have some intuition to say that, okay, this claim is fraudulent or not. But is it every day that we have intuition? Sometimes, yeah, pray. So we need AI to support us in these activities. So there are types of So we have types of fraud, as we've spoken about. We have forged and exaggerated claims before things happen. We have misrepresentation during onboarding, non-disclosure of pre-existing health conditions. We've also seen instances where before they come on board, the incident has already happened. And that is a clear misrepresentation at onboarding. So you have them taking policies for people they know have died, and then they wait for the waiting period to be over. And our agencies that we rely on, and it goes, sometimes the rot is so bad that even our police officers, the police stations. There was an incident, was it in Akosombo, of an accident. And that accident had happened before the person even came and took the policy. Yeah. You understand? And went back, recollected and recounted what had happened, the people that died, the hospital, in fact, the hospital that they took those accident victims to, and all of that. And went to the police station, managed to even get some of their signatures and their stamps. As to how they convinced them to do that, only God knows. But in Ghana, that's why I'm saying that we need to be advocates for collaboration. We need to lobby so that some of these institutions, in fact, all of these institutions, we get them to go digital. You see, because it will help us. It's to our benefits. The insurance industry, it is to our benefits. Otherwise, right now, as much as we think that we are detecting fraudulent claims, there's so much more that we are paying that we haven't detected, only because it is not obvious to our eyes, and only because it's not obvious to our instincts. You see, so thank God for the ones that we find. But otherwise, this is happening, and it's happening at the point of onboarding. Into all so you just ask patience, and especially those who are paying good premium. Sometimes they are the ones who do that because they know that the payouts, they are well informed. And that's why I was asking that when someone comes with all the documents prepared, how do you feel? Because they know. So from that first day, they've already planned all the documents that they're going to bring. They've already started working on it, and then they present it, and that's what we're being faced with. Falsified documents. These are the ones who maybe after the incident they want more, it's not happening. Then they do that. Collusion with medical officials, we've said that. And then identity theft. Yes.
I think we should be able to meet Ghana medical the incident assistance of Ghana health and have a collaboration with them. Sometimes they will educate their people, a lot of them say want their people to get falsified when it comes to collaboration with disease. You have medical say because of that you get a doctor stamping and everything saying that the person is dead, and you only go and check the person is alive. Aside that, I also believe that even as an associate or what, we should even have some form of reward system for this group of people, whether we sponsor the medical or the nurses, something. By way of rewarding them for now when that we do for us, so that people will genuinely verify, or when we send the request to them to verify the connected, right? Maybe every year we are giving them an amount of money or give them equipment or something. Now you can collaboration with them.
The collaboration is actually very important. We need to do that. And I don't know if we all do that when we don't take the typical Ghanaian approach of that kind of thing. And especially when you find professional bodies misconducting themselves as such, or professionals misconducting themselves as such, are we reporting them to their Ghana Medical Association, for example, to get them this license? The thing is that we don't even have enough of the medical professionals, so especially when you go out of Accra, a lot of these medical facilities are not even manned by doctors. You find they call them what? Physician assistants, and they are the doctor. They will refer to them as doctor. So we have a long way to go, but as you rightly said, we need to start from somewhere. We can't wait to get everything 100% before we kick off. And even in terms of reporting our claims amongst ourselves, and we started doing that with enterprise, and some time ago we realized that clients or claimants who were reporting claims with us were doing the same with multiple insurance companies. And because of our collaboration with enterprise, when it came to that, there was a claim at our end. And I think that wasn't the claim that we did that investigate, the guy who had killed his mother. He had gone to kill his mother to at enterprise. And
This one was the one that's the person died of natural causes in Accra. They came to do the claim that the person had died through an accident. Yes.
to get your own indemnity. Yes. And so, did you hear that?
Yes.
Okay. So there was an incident where the insured had died out of a natural cause, but then when the claim came, they reported it as accident, so that they could get what trouble in the exactly they could get.
The person had died already. After the person died, then they came to take an insurance policy. So they are not related to the person. So after the person died somewhere in January.
Yes, yes.
And then October,
Yes.
they came to take a new policy. And then they went to get
All the documents.
all the documents.
Yeah.
They staged, there was an accident that happened somewhere like the hinterlands. So they used that accident to say the person was
part of that. And then, yes, and they got the police report and everything. They got the hospital, the mortuary, everything was there. And they had lodged the same claim at Enterprise. And I understand another insurance company. Unfortunately for that other insurance company, they had paid the claim. But because of our collaboration, we realized that it was a fraudulent one and we didn't honor it. We took them to court. They're still in court. Yeah. Yes.
Again, insurance. Life is doing something with the enterprise. My life is doing something with the staff. Come together.
Yes.
And then we do it. And then insurance to it.
Yes. The thing is, we are all doing it, and we're all supposed to do it. The GIA has is it claims database? Yes, and we're all supposed to be reporting to it, and then referring to that database when we have claims. But how many of us actually?
It's easier with you working with enterprise people.
Sorry.
Probably going to that election.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
It's easier working with the enterprise people based on provision.
No, what I was referring to was the fact that it was a while ago that we ended up communicating and seeing that, and I know that following from that, the NICGIA has set up that database that we're supposed to be reporting to and referring to. So that was how we started our collaboration. But then as time goes on, I don't know if other insurance companies are reporting to the pool, the database, but we are all supposed to. So we do.
Wait for it. What are we doing to make sure that it's all insurance, the life insurance?
That's why we are here, and that's why I'm advocating that let's make sure, because it's there, unless we are saying that we do not know about it. If we do not know about it, then that's different. We don't know about it. Okay, then NICGI, we need to do more when it comes to the information dissemination of some of these things, because it's what will help the industry to do. But for those who know, I know are reporting to that database. Any more contributions? I tried to finish this quickly, but so again, some of fraud prevention and detection strategies, data validation and cross verification. We've spoken about that, matching the databases, but the thing is, Are the databases themselves digitized? They're not. They're all still very manual. And because it's manual, even at that point, they're finding ways of manipulating these databases. But we need to advocate for it and we need to push it. AI predictive and analytics it helps us to detect suspicious patterns, unusual claims timing, sometimes immediately after the waiting period. Those claims, immediately after the waiting period, then they come and no extra payment. Then there's a claim. Some of them are genuine, but then a lot of times we've seen that they are very suspicious. But then there's a data we can use AI to sort of sift out those kind of claims that come in immediately after waiting period, etc. And claims history and behavioral analytics, as we said, if there's a particular branch or there's a particular area that claims keep coming from, and this type of claim, sometimes even the hospital, every accident claim or every death claim is coming from this place. Or as we said, in our case, the profession, whenever there's a claim from nurse, most of the time, these HCI claims, because they work in those facilities, they'll come and bring you 300 days HCI claim. But AI can help us detect all of those things. Secure documentation through blockchain. So blockchain is basically helping with data authenticity, where what one person does, the other cannot do, and it sort of blocks you. There's is it individualistic, or is each stage is independent. That's the word. It's independent, and so therefore tampering with data is very difficult. So at the point of claims, we've seen claims officers who have also tried to defraud, right, or to make wrongful, yes. So the claims officer should not be able to tamper with information or with data at the underwriting side, because at the end of the day, when the claim comes, you're checking it against what came in the beginning, and that is what happens at underwriting. But then if you have that blockchain where a claims officer is unable to tamper with data from underwriting, then we sort of have some data protection there, blockchain. Employee and intermediary monitoring. We need to conduct background checks, our agents. Sometimes I know we need agents and we need them to work, but sometimes they are the ones doing us bad. We need to have regular audits of our staff and intermediaries, and then implement the whistleblower policy. Sometimes we're in a group, we're in a team, someone is your friend, but you can see that actually what this person is doing, it's not good, it's not fine. But you don't want to come and be seeing that you are the one reporting. Otherwise, you cry, you'll be looking at you some way. Hey, we say that they don't know. Anyway, team, I better you don't, So if we have some whistleblower policies in place where you can anonymously, let the company know that such a thing is going on, it would be great. Industry and regulatory collaboration. That is what you've just said. It's very important. We need it. We need to share information within our industry, and we need to participate in this anti-fraud database. So I think from here, Martha will take it up that we need to let that database be known to all, so then encourage the reporting of claims or fraudulent claims onto that database. So tools and technologies for fraud detection and prevention. We've spoken about all of these things already: AI, natural language processing, predictive analytics, and then data integration, of course, learning. And we obviously know the benefits of preventing fraud. Faster claims processing, reducing financial loss to the company, improving trust and reputation, and industry and regulatory collaboration. We become closer, and when we become closer, no one can penetrate, because we will find you out. And once one company finds you out, you can't perpetrate the same fraud on another company. So what they do is that they start with one company, they get away with it. Then they replicate that same 419 model, that same strategy to everybody else. Before you know, all of us have been defrauded. So we need to collaborate more and get closer. So our last topic for today is the data-driven decision-making and claims management. I think this says what it says. Data-driven decisions involve using accurate real-time data and analytics to inform every step of the claims processing, from onboarding to payout. And the only way we can do it is what? AI. Predictive models. What it means? Historical claims data. It means all the claims that has happened before. You have a good database of it. And in this case, once we collaborate and we have our databases working, we can then pick out the history, the claims history from amongst ourselves and then work on it. Policyholder behavior. It's using data from policyholder behavior would also help us in determining and then making business decisions that will make us go forward. Medical and mortality data, external databases. It all equals to operational optimization. So key applications and insurance, life insurance claims. Before I was talking about claims triage, it's very important that we adopt a claims triage system. And the only way we can adopt a claims triage system is by using AI and predictive models. That will help us to classify our claims according to the complexity of the claims. If a claim is very complex and then you have other non-complex claims, why spend all the time? That is a claims officer, right? You're able to prioritize which ones you attend to first. So it prioritizes or classifies claims based on complexity, urgency, and the potential risk for fraud. That's what the claims triage does. And there are models that will support in doing that. There's a decision support systems using AI models to suggest the next best actions and outcomes. So there are AI models that basically tell you that, oh, okay, so this particular claim needs further investigation. Then it moves it outside into a trade based on the natural learning program that we spoke of, the NLP. The fraud detection, it also detects patterns linked to historical fraud cases. Again, if we're all sharing the database, if let's say Adjoa Mansa, for example, has had a claim, or Adjoa Mansa with date of birth 1st January 2000, has lodged a claim with say SIC Life. And then Adjoa Mansa with the same date of birth also lodges a claim with Glyco Life. That database should be able to pull it out and flag it as suspicious for us to look into it and to help detect fraud. And personalized customer service, speaking to the customer, and especially in our part of the world, sometimes you can pick on how people talk and what they say, in determining and detecting fraud, as well as making business decisions. Okay, maybe the client would be unhappy about the way it takes long, and oh, maybe I submitted my claim, nobody has contacted me, or I haven't heard anything from you. The way you speak to the person, or by speaking to the person, you're able to know that the client is unhappy about your claims processing time. And so you take the feedback seriously, as we have mentioned before, and then we actually work on it. And then operational optimization, that is where we end up happening. So benefits of data-driven claims management: faster turnaround times, improved accuracy and fairness, reduced fraud, satisfied customers, that is why we're all here, and then compliant and audit-ready company, that is what our companies will be. So on this juncture, this is Glyco. Glyco is a brand of 6 companies or subsidiaries. We're made up of Glyco Life, represented by me here today, Glyco General, Glyco Healthcare, Glyco Pensions, Glyco Capital, and Glyco Properties. Thank you.